Hello, English learners. Welcome back to Life Talk English. I'm Nico.
And I'm Elisa.
Picture this. You're sitting in a quiet cafe, maybe in your own city, maybe somewhere new. You've been practicing English in your head, repeating phrases silently like, "Can I have a coffee, please?" But when the waiter finally comes, your mind suddenly goes blank. That silence feels so much louder than your words.
Oh, I've been there. It feels like the English just disappears, right? Like it sneaks out the back door.
Exactly. And here's the funny part. Speaking English without fear sounds so easy in theory, but in practice, yeah, it's a lot harder than it sounds.
And that's what today is all about. How do you break that fear wall, the invisible wall between the English in your head and the English coming out of your mouth?
Liking what you hear? Hit that like button and subscribe to join us for more, but only if this is your kind of learning.
And hey, leave us a comment with your location and local time. We love knowing where you're listening from. It's like having a little map of our learners around the world.
Now, settle in, maybe grab a notebook or just relax with your headphones on, and let's ease into today's English journey together.
Okay, Nico, let's start with the big question. Why do so many learners feel nervous when speaking English?
Well, fear usually comes from two places. One, the fear of making mistakes. Two, the fear of other people judging you.
Yes, that second one is sneaky. You imagine people laughing or rolling their eyes, even though in reality, most people are too busy thinking about their own lives.
Right. You know, Alyssa, I once asked for directions in broken Spanish while traveling in Barcelona. My grammar was all over the place, but the local just smiled and helped me anyway.
That's such a good example. Listeners, imagine this. You're in an airport and you need to find your gate. You say, "Excuse me, gate number B12? Where?" Maybe the grammar isn't perfect, but guess what? You'll still get to your gate. Mission accomplished.
Exactly. Communication first, perfection second. That's the key to breaking the fear wall.
And I think it helps to reframe mistakes. Instead of thinking, "Oh no, I failed," think, "Oh, cool, I just created a funny memory."
Speaking of funny, do you remember when you said, "I'm hungry for the bathroom" in German?
Oh, don't remind me. Yes, instead of "I need the bathroom," I mixed up words. The waiter looked so shocked, but later it became a story I told everyone. And that's the thing, your mistakes become stories, not disasters.
That's an important cultural note, too. In many places, people appreciate your effort more than your accuracy. If you're in London or New York, locals may hear an accent, and instead of judging, they often think, "Wow, you're brave for trying."
True. And listeners, here's a gentle English feature to help lower the fear: polite openers. Instead of blurting your question too directly, start with "excuse me" or "could you help me?" Those little phrases buy you time and sound softer.
Let's role play. Imagine you're on a bus and want to ask, "Does this bus go to the city center?" If you're nervous, you could shorten it to, "Excuse me, city center." It's simple, still polite, and gets the job done.
And then, as you grow more comfortable, you can expand. "Excuse me, does this bus go to the city center?" Step by step.
That's the strategy. Don't aim for perfect sentences on day one. Aim for survival English. Just enough words to get what you need.
And as you use those small phrases daily, your confidence grows. Nico, do you think fear ever completely disappears?
Good question. I'd say fear doesn't vanish, but it shrinks. It becomes background noise. Like when you first start swimming, the water feels huge and scary, but once you've practiced, you still respect the water, but it doesn't stop you from jumping in.
Oh, I love that image. So, listeners, think of English like that pool. At first, you're standing on the edge, nervous, but the moment you dip your toes in, even with a tiny phrase like, "How are you?" you've already broken the fear wall.
And every hello, every thank you, every "where's the bus stop" is like another step into the water.
So maybe tonight when you're brushing your teeth, practice just one tiny phrase out loud. Something like, "Excuse me, do you know the time?" even if no one's around, you're building the habit of speaking.
And if your mirror laughs at you, well, you've got bigger problems.
Exactly. See, even laughter helps. Fear loses power when you don't take yourself too seriously.
So, to sum up this part, fear is natural, but you don't have to fight it like a monster. You just walk through it with small steps, polite phrases, and a bit of humor.
And remember, people are usually kind. They see your effort, not your mistakes.
Which sets us up perfectly for the next part, how those small steps actually turn into big wins.
Oh yes, that's where the magic happens.
So, Elisa, in the last part, we talked about fear being like this big wall. Now let's imagine you're holding a tiny hammer. Each little English phrase you say is like a tap on that wall. One tap doesn't knock it down, but over time, crack, 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 the wall starts to break.
Oh, I love that image. And honestly, learners sometimes underestimate the power of small steps. They think, if I can't give a speech in English yet, then I'm failing. But actually, asking for directions or saying thank you to a shopkeeper, that's already success.
Exactly. I call these micro conversations, little daily exchanges that seem simple, but they add up.
For example, let's say you live in a non-English speaking country. You could start every day by greeting someone in English, maybe just good morning to a friend online or in your own mirror.
Or if you do live in an English-speaking city, try saying one polite question each day, like at the supermarket. Do you have this in a smaller size?
And here's the trick. Repeat it. Say the same phrase to different people. It's like reusing a recipe. The more you cook it, the more natural it feels.
True. Repetition is like a secret weapon. I used to practice ordering coffee with the exact same phrase. Hi, could I have a latte, please? After a week, I didn't even think about the words anymore. They just flowed.
And listeners, here's where a fun English feature comes in. Polite requests with could. Notice Nico said, could I have a latte, please? That's softer and friendlier than give me a latte.
Well, unless you want the barista to glare at you.
Or throw the coffee in your face. But seriously, could is like magic. Could you tell me? Could I see? It works almost anywhere.
Let's role play another situation. Elisa, imagine you're at a bookstore and you can't find the travel section.
Okay. I'd say, excuse me, could you tell me where the travel books are?
Perfect. And if you're feeling nervous, you can shorten it to, excuse me, travel books? Still polite, still works.
Exactly. Small step version, big step version. Both get the job done.
And every time you do this in real life, you build confidence, like stacking little bricks.
You know, this reminds me of when I first started practicing French. I was terrified to speak. So I set myself one daily rule. Ask at least one question in French, no matter how small.
Did it work?
Totally. Some days it was just, where is the bus stop? Other days it was, could you recommend a restaurant? But every single time I spoke, I felt a little stronger.
That's the magic of small steps. They sneak up on you. Suddenly, one day you realize you're having a whole 5-minute conversation without panic.
Yes! And listeners, maybe you can create your own one question a day challenge. Write it on a sticky note or set a reminder on your phone. Ask one question in English today.
Even online counts. If you comment on a YouTube video in English or send a quick "how are you" message to a friend, that's still practice.
Exactly. And don't worry about mixing up grammar. The important thing is movement, not perfection.
I think learners forget that native speakers also make mistakes, just in their own language.
Oh, yes. I once texted my friend in English, I'm going to the beach, B-E-E-C-H. That's a tree, not the sea.
So you were planning on sitting under a tree all day.
Apparently. But see, even native speakers mess up spelling or word choice. So when you make a small mistake, it doesn't mean you're bad at English. It just means You're human.
And that's actually a cultural point worth noting. In many English-speaking cultures, confidence matters more than perfection. If you speak with a smile and a clear intention, people usually understand and even admire you.
Yes, I've noticed that too. In the US, for example, people often say, "Wow, your English is great," even if you only spoke a few sentences. They encourage effort.
So here's a practical takeaway. Treat small steps like mini victories. Celebrate them.
I sometimes tell learners to keep a confidence journal. Write down each small conversation. Today, I asked for the time in English. Today, I ordered water in English. By the end of the month, you see pages full of progress.
That's brilliant. And when fear creeps back, you flip through and remind yourself, look what I've already done.
And you know what? Those small steps often lead to fun surprises. Once I asked a stranger in English where the train station was. He not only told me, but also walked me there, and we ended up chatting about music the whole way.
Wow, so one small question turned into a full conversation.
Exactly. You never know what doors open when you take those baby steps.
So, listeners, next time you hesitate, remember, you don't need a perfect essay. You just need a phrase, a smile, and the courage to try.
And every phrase is a little crack in that fear wall we talked about earlier.
Which brings us smoothly to the next part, how polite questions not only build confidence, but also connect you with people.
Oh, yes. Could you and would you are going to be your new best friends.
All right, Elisa, now we're moving into one of my favorite topics, questions.
Me too. Questions are like little keys. They unlock conversations. And when you learn to ask them politely in English, suddenly people respond more warmly.
Exactly. A polite question isn't just about grammar. It's about creating connection. If you say, "Where is bathroom?" people will understand. But if you say, "Excuse me, could you tell me where the bathroom is?" it feels softer, friendlier.
And it buys you time, too. Those extra words, "excuse me, could you tell me," give your brain a second to catch up.
Yes, listeners, think of it as a gentle runway before takeoff. Instead of rushing your words, you glide into them.
Let's practice. Nico, imagine you're in a shop and you need help finding something. How would you ask?
I'd say, "Excuse me, could you help me find the milk?"
Perfect. And notice the 3 layers. Excuse me, polite opener. Could you, soft request. And then the actual need, help me find the milk.
Right. And here's the best part. Once you learn this pattern, you can use it everywhere. Excuse me, could you tell me what time it is? Excuse me, could you show me where the bus stop is? Same structure, different words.
It's like having a recipe. You don't reinvent the cake every time. You just change the flavor.
Exactly. Now, Elisa, do you remember when you were in London and asked for directions?
Oh, yes. I panicked for a moment. But then I remembered the formula. I said, "Excuse me, could you tell me how to get to Oxford Street?" And the man smiled and gave me clear directions.
That's the magic. The polite structure made you sound confident, even if you were nervous inside.
And listeners, here's the cultural note. In many English-speaking countries, politeness is almost more important than accuracy. If you forget half the words but start with, "Excuse me," and smile, people want to help.
Yes, compare "where bathroom" versus "excuse me, could you tell me where the bathroom is?" One sounds urgent, maybe even rude. The other sounds respectful.
And when you use these polite openers, you often get longer, friendlier answers. That's how real conversations begin.
Let's role play a full mini scene. Elisa, you're at a train station in New York, looking a little lost.
"Excuse me, could you tell me which platform goes to Brooklyn?"
Sure. You want platform 3? Just follow the signs over there.
Thank you so much.
No problem. Have a good trip.
See, that short, polite question opened up a friendly exchange. And maybe if I added, "I'm new here, I'm a tourist," or even "I'm learning English," people usually respond with kindness.
Oh, yes. When you say, I'm learning English, people often slow down, use simpler words, and cheer you on. So listeners, let's build a toolkit of polite questions. Repeat after us if you can. Ready?
Number 1. Excuse me, could you tell me the time?
Number 2. Excuse me, could you help me with this?
Number 3. Excuse me, could you show me the way?
And number 4. Excuse me, could you recommend a good place to eat?
See? With just these 4, you can survive almost any situation. Travel, shopping, eating out.
And the beauty is, once you're comfortable, you can make them longer. Excuse me, could you recommend a good place to eat nearby? Something not too expensive?
That's so natural. And honestly, people enjoy giving advice like that. It's a cultural thing. Many locals love recommending food.
Oh, absolutely. I once asked a stranger in Toronto, excuse me, could you recommend a good cafe? He not only told me, he walked me there, introduced me to the barista, and we ended up chatting for 20 minutes.
That's amazing. So one polite question turned into a whole connection.
That's why I call them conversation keys. You never know what doors they'll unlock.
And listeners, remember, even if your grammar slips, keep the polite frame. People notice your effort more than your mistakes.
Let's add a little humor here. Elisa, what happens if you forget the polite part?
You just say, "Where's food?" People might think you're a caveman.
Exactly. Add, excuse me, could you, and suddenly you sound human again.
So don't underestimate those magic words. They're tiny, but they transform how people see you.
And practicing them daily helps shrink your fear. Like we said earlier, fear doesn't vanish, it just gets smaller. And polite questions are some of the strongest tools to keep it small.
Which sets us up nicely for our next part. What happens when you mess up, when the words come out wrong, or when people don't understand you?
Ah, yes, the dreaded mistake moment.
Spoiler, it's not as bad as you think. In fact, it can even be funny.
All right, Elisa, let's talk about the elephant in the room, mistakes.
Or maybe the monkey in the room, depending on what word you mix up.
Exactly, because sooner or later, you're going to make mistakes in English, and that's not a bad thing. It's proof that you're actually speaking.
Yes, mistakes mean movement. If you're not making any, it probably means you're staying silent.
And silence might feel safe, but it doesn't help you grow.
Let me share a story. I once said to a waiter, "Can I have a chicken with no clothes?" I wanted to say skinless chicken, but the poor waiter just blinked at me. Then he laughed, then I laughed, and suddenly it wasn't scary anymore. It was just funny.
That's perfect. And here's the lesson. Most people laugh with you, not at you.
Right. And that shared laughter creates connection. The waiter probably remembered me that day in a good way.
Listeners, think of mistakes as little stories you collect. One day, you'll tell them to friends and laugh.
And laughter is powerful. It actually reduces fear. When you can giggle at your own English accident, the fear wall crumbles even faster.
Here's a quick English feature to practice. Self-repair. That's when you correct yourself mid-sentence. Like, I want a chicken with no clothes. Oh, I mean, no skin. People immediately understand, and it shows confidence.
Yes, and sometimes you don't even need to correct everything. You can use little fillers like, "Wait, no, let me try again." That buys time and makes you sound natural.
Native speakers do this all the time. I might say, I'll meet you on Tuesday. Sorry, I mean Wednesday. Nobody panics. Nobody thinks less of me.
Exactly. So when learners make corrections, it doesn't look weak. It looks human.
Elisa, do you remember that student of yours who confused beach and bitch?
Yes. Poor guy. He wanted to say, "I love the beach," but he missed one little sound. We all laughed, but gently, and then we practiced the long E sound. Beach.
And after that, he never forgot it. So mistakes can become the strongest lessons.
True. Sometimes I tell learners, "Congratulations, you made a mistake. Now you'll remember the correct version forever."
And culturally, in many English-speaking places, people actually admire your bravery. Imagine you're in the US and you say something funny by accident. People might laugh, but then they'll often say, "Hey, your English is really good."
Yes, because they see the effort, not the error.
Let's role play a mistake moment. Elisa, pretend you're ordering in a restaurant.
Okay. Could I have some fried children, please?
Sorry, children?
I meant chicken. See, that's funny. The waiter would laugh, I would laugh, and then I'd quickly say, "Oops, chicken, not children."
And the restaurant doesn't call the police, don't worry.
Exactly. The fear in our head is always bigger than the reality.
That's so true. In real life, people move on quickly. Nobody keeps a notebook of your mistakes.
Except maybe your English teacher.
Hey, we teachers don't write secret joke books, I promise.
Okay, fine. But seriously, listeners, when you laugh at mistakes, you take away their power.
And here's another practical tip. If you don't understand someone, or if they don't understand you, just say, "Sorry, could you say that again?" Or, "Let me try another way."
That's such a good one. And guess what? Native speakers say sorry or pardon all the time, too.
Exactly. Even between native speakers, miscommunication happens daily. So don't treat it as a failure. It's just part of conversation.
You know, I once misheard someone in New York. They said, "Do you want cream cheese?" And I thought they said, "Do you want 3 keys?"
So you thought you were getting into a secret club instead of a bagel shop.
Basically, but we laughed and then I got my bagel. No harm done.
That's the perfect example. Misunderstandings are often funny, not fatal.
So listeners, the next time you mess up, smile and laugh, say, "Oops, I meant this," and move on.
Because mistakes are not the opposite of learning, they are the process of learning.
And when you start to believe that, your fear shrinks.
Which leads us to the final stage, not just breaking fear once, but building a flow where English feels natural, calm, and part of your life.
Ah, yes, finding your English flow. That's where we're heading next.
So, Elisa, we've talked about fear, small steps, polite questions, and laughing at mistakes. Now comes the golden part. Flow.
Yes, the moment when English stops feeling like an exam and starts feeling like a rhythm.
Exactly. Listeners, flow is when you're speaking and not thinking about every single word. You're just in the conversation.
Like when you're riding a bicycle. At first, you wobble, you check your balance, you look at your feet, but after a while, you just ride. You don't think about each pedal. You just go.
And here's the secret. Flow doesn't mean perfect grammar. Flow means comfortable conversation.
Yes, even native speakers break grammar rules when they talk. They say things like, "Me and my friend went," instead of "my friend and I went." And no one stops the conversation to correct them.
Right. Flow is about connection, not perfection.
So how do you find it? First, keep using those polite openers we practiced. They give you a safe entry into conversations.
Second, practice set phrases. These are like ready-made blocks. You don't need to translate in your head. For example, "That's interesting. I see what you mean." "Really? Tell me more."
Oh, yes, those are lifesavers. They keep conversations moving while you think of your next idea.
Let's role play. I'll pretend I'm telling you about my weekend.
Go for it.
So, I went hiking on Saturday.
Really? That's interesting. Tell me more.
See how easy that was? Elisa didn't need to invent complex grammar. Just a simple phrase kept me talking.
And it gave me time to relax and listen. That's flow. Conversation that keeps rolling without pressure.
Another way to build flow is shadowing. That means repeating what you hear, like an echo. You hear, "How's it going?" And you softly say, "How's it going?" It trains your mouth to move naturally.
Yes, shadowing is like singing along to your favorite song. At first, you follow, then one day you can sing it without looking at the lyrics.
And that's exactly how flow feels. Singing the English without the script.
Here's a cultural note. In many English-speaking countries, people value small talk. Talking about the weather, weekend plans, or even just saying, busy day, huh? Creates rhythm.
Oh, yes. Small talk is not small at all. It's like oil for the engine. It keeps conversation smooth.
Listeners, you can practice by starting with one safe small talk line every day. For example, nice weather today, or how's your day going?
And here's the fun part. Sometimes small talk grows into big talk. You start with nice weather, and suddenly you're talking about vacations, hobbies, or dreams.
Exactly. That's flow. The natural expansion of a tiny phrase into a full conversation.
And remember our earlier point. Don't fear mistakes. Flow doesn't get broken by little errors. In fact, flow survives because you keep going despite them.
Yes. Imagine a river. It doesn't stop just because there's a rock. It flows around it. That's how your English should feel.
Beautiful image. So the goal isn't to remove every mistake, it's to keep your river moving.
And you don't need to force it. Flow comes from gentle, steady practice. A few minutes every day is better than hours once a month.
Think of it like brushing your teeth. You don't wait until Sunday and brush for 2 hours. You brush a little every day.
That would be terrible. But yes, small, steady practice keeps your English fresh.
And soon, you realize English feels like part of your daily life. You order coffee, you chat online, you watch a movie, you laugh at a joke, all in English.
That's when you know you found your flow. English isn't something scary anymore. It's just part of you.
So, listeners, give yourself permission to be imperfect, to laugh, to take small steps. Flow will come.
And once you have it, speaking English feels less like climbing a wall and more like floating down a gentle river.
Which is the perfect way to end this journey.
Yes. But before we wrap up, let's take a slow moment to reflect together in our breakdown.
So, here we are at the quiet end of today's journey. Let's pause and breathe together for a moment.
You've walked with us through fear, through small steps, through polite questions, through laughter, and finally into flow. That's a lot. And you did it just by listening, just by being here.
Remember, fear is natural, but it doesn't control you. Each tiny phrase you say is a crack in that wall.
Each polite, "Excuse me, could you?" is a key that opens doors.
Each mistake you laugh at is proof that you're alive in the language.
And each moment of flow, those times when English just moves without effort, those are treasures.
You don't need to push yourself too hard. Gentle, steady practice builds confidence. A smile, a small question, a friendly word.
And don't forget, you're not alone. Millions of learners around the world are walking this path with you right now, maybe even listening at the same time.
That's a comforting thought, isn't it? You're part of a global circle of voices, all learning, all laughing, all flowing together.
So, as you rest tonight, maybe imagine yourself on that gentle river we described. The water carries you forward, calmly, smoothly. You don't have to fight. You just float.
Your English journey can feel the same way. Trust it. Let it carry you.
And know that we're proud of you for showing up, for listening, for trying.
Yes, you're doing beautifully.
Until next time, keep speaking, keep smiling, and keep flowing.
Sweet dreams, everyone.